I do.
Yeah, I can talk.
I'm almost ready. I
Oh,
just
it is only 1 minute.
think an appraisal. It's already being a little bit tough.
You set that clock again.
I'm being.
So John knows that he needs to
And I'm-
put it up and
Yeah.
out on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Works out as well.
Is that her first rodeo?
That's right.
Like, they're written, I like the.
Yeah, I didn't bring any handouts. Take notes.
That's okay.
Right. I'll do my.
Cool. Ooh, I'm not jacked up on coffee.
Oh, Gary Keller was this morning, right?
Yeah.
Tune in. I forgot.
Is it, where is it this
San
year?
Antonio.
Oh, so it's the same time zone.
Yeah, it was at 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Not of it at 8:30.
I got up and I was like, there's something I was gonna do today. This morning.
I was sitting drinking coffee and then I thought about like, shit, that would have been nice.
Yeah, can you buy into it? Like you can.
Well, I think there's
subscribe with the
probably,
online?
I'm assuming since any of us we all have access to the streaming through command. So
Oh,
I'm assuming
okay.
there'll be a recording of it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a notification on command right now to
Oh,
join.
yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And then usually maybe a week after is when they release the recording and the day after is when they release the slideshow. Yeah, that's typically what it is.
In command.
I also
Yeah,
think
they
they're
command.
very State of the state.
it's always good to hear that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who's at the mega camp from the office? John
John, Piper,
Harry,
and
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 Perry.
and then Anthony.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Ready?
11:01.
Let's hit it. All right. Thanks, Allison, for getting me set up with the PowerPoint. I think I can click the forward button and handle the technology. So,
see.
and is it geographical or geographic? Is the right word?
A good question. I feel like it's
One works.
We'll ponder that for the,
yeah.
and then at the end, we'll all come up with the right answer. I changed it to geographical because somebody said it was geographic. I mean, anyway, we're gonna go for it. So I think I know most of you. I'm Steve Schneeberger.
And Julie DeHart and my husband Phil.
Okay, great. Welcome. Yeah, everybody. Oh, I haven't met you yet.
Christina.
Christina. Okay, awesome. Well, my name is Steve Schneeberger. For those who haven't met me yet officially or haven't been to any of my classes, I've been in the business about 22 years. I just say 20 plus now because if you've been in the business a certain amount of time, the years kind of can work against you in terms of telling people how long you've been in the business. So I just say 20 plus. But I've been with KW since 2000, like 15 or so. Josie was on my team way back when I made the switch over. We had a team going for a while. It was super fun. And so I started with a different red company and had a good experience there for a number of years. But one of the things that I have chosen to do is one of my legs of business is geographical farming. And I always tell people I grew up on a farm. I was raised in West Central Minnesota. My dad was a crop farmer, and I had the farm life up until I was 18, and then I couldn't wait to get out the farm. But when I was with Edina Realty at the time, John Smabey was a broker who is, the Smabey family is pretty well known in the real estate world. And a couple of years after I left the business there and came to KW, John was actually the national NAR president. So yeah, it was pretty wise. And I remember one day earlier in my career, I was kind of trying to figure out how to do this business. And he brought me in his office and he's like giving me advice. And he said, Steve, I'll tell you one thing. I've never seen a realtor fail in this business who has been good at geographical farming. And I thought, okay, here's something coming from a pretty well-respected guy. I grew up on a farm. I could probably do this. And so he kind of walked me through a few things, like here's how to get it set up, here's how to start. And then I just kind of took it and ran with it. So I've been farming for probably the better part of my career.
Your whole life.
Since the mid to late 2000s in the same area. And so I feel I like to teach this because I've learned a lot of things over the years, and it took me a long time of evolution to kind of adopt some of these ideas that I work with today. And so if you choose to farm as one of the legs of your stool, and you should have 3 legs to your stool. If you choose to do geographical farming is one of them. It's a slow burn. It's a slow process, but hopefully with some of the things I'm going to share with you today, you can accelerate it and kind of take advantage of what I've learned over the years and go, oh, okay, I'm going to try it like this. So what is farming? I'm drawing the analogy here a little bit as we go. So activity or business of growing crops. And there's a season to farming, like there's a season to, farming in real estate. So what I intend to cover in this order today is kind of first preparing the soil is how do you even choose a farm? What do you look for? And then we'll move into how to get started, growing the crops, talk a little bit about systems and scalability, and then profiting from the harvest. How do you track things, track your ROI, and then I'm going to kind of move pretty quickly through the first 4 bullet points, and then spend the bulk of the time talking about strategies and literally going through and with detail and showing you exactly what I do and how I do it. And so the 10 low-cost strategies, and then some of the samples of some of my marketing material and different events that I've held over the years. I used to, there was a big, huge farmer from the Phoenix area, Kenny Klaus. I don't know if he's still in the business. He used to come to the cities every now and then, and Kenny, like, he was a legend in farming, and I think he like markets to 30,000 homes a month in his area, and he actually owns 2 restaurants in his farm area. Back in the day, he hasn't been here for a number of years, and I'm not sure if he's still in the business, but I would go to his seminars whenever he came to town. And the one thing I never got was like, give me the details, show me your newsletter, show me your stuff. Like, how do you, like, give me the minutia detail of it. So I figured that might be more beneficial than just kind of going through more of the esoteric type things. But in choosing a farm, there are some really important things to consider. And I'll kind of talk about how I chose my farm. But how you choose your farm, location is number one. I've known agents who have chosen to farm in areas that are not where they live, and it is very limited in success. Because for me, when I moved to Richfield shortly into my career from Eden Prairie, I knew right away that was where I wanted to be in my farm. I felt the vibe with Richfield. I liked the housing stock. I liked living there, and it felt like a small town to me. And so I chose where I lived. And I think for the most part, that can be really good. If you live in a condo building or, townhome development, you want to think about, your price point is one thing. Do you want to be marketing to $200,000 1970s built condos? Is that what you want to build your business upon? Or do you want to be in, Rolling Greens, Edina, and marketing to multi-million-dollar homes? It's kind of, consider your price point to what you're going to be spending, and then just your comfort level. I wouldn't be comfortable marketing to multi-million-dollar homes. It's just not my style. Turnover is also important. You want to look at places. You want to look at how many homes have sold in your target area over the last year, and you want to have at least between 5 and 7% turnover. So when I first started my farm, I did 900 homes down kind of the middle swath of Richfield, the neighborhood I lived in, and 5 to 7 of 1,000 roughly, 50 to 70 homes a year would turn in that neighborhood. And I knew I could probably capture some of that. You don't want to be where there's nobody selling. You sell like a handful of homes in a year. What's the point? You're going to be competing against agents every single time anyway. So make sure you're kind of looking at that at least 5 to 7% turnover. Competition.
To know that, I mean, other than looking at what's sold in that area, is there another science to it or something?
Yeah, you can do like a map search on the MLS. Because I break out my neighborhoods in Richfield, however that is, and you can go year to year and look and see. It's a little bit.
And do
When
it
you
in-
send mailers out, you can.
Yes, that's another one.
Like, they can pull, like, the homes that have sold, and like, a lot of times I exclude the homes if I send mails out that have sold in the last 3 years, and just send to anyone that's lived in the home longer than,
Mhm.
I don't know, 3 dozen years.
Yeah, that's a great tool.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a really good tool. Competition. So when I first, was talking about where to go, and I had my broker pull up who's selling homes in this area. Is there anybody that stand out? Like there's certain places in the city you can go, like Carla Rose she owns Golden Valley.
Zip it.
And,
Live there.
it's like these people that are legends in their
True.
areas. Do you want to compete against them? Maybe. I mean, anybody can be beaten, but it's a little harder than just taking an area where when my broker first pulled those stats and I was a few years into my career and I said, pull me the stats for Richfield, and I was like 2/3 into the year. And I think I sold 5 houses in Richfield, and I was in 5th place. I was the 5th highest producing realtor in Richfield with 5 houses. Like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? I don't need to sell that many more to get to number 1. And a lot of places that's the way it is.
How do you find that too?
Through the broker metrics.
But we couldn't
yeah.
access it.
You're
Not
not going to
being-
be able to, but I brought a couple samples and Matt or John can pull these there. It's a subscription that you can look at, but this is kind of basically what they look like. And these are from a couple of different years in the past. Right, Matt? Yeah. I mean, this is something that, you don't like, not everybody go ask Matt for this because it, takes a little time to prep it and everything. But if this is one thing you're definitely going to want to see if you're going to farm an area. So find out your competition, your price point, like I mentioned, and then just a personal match. What you vibe with the area. So I kind of premise this conversation on the fact that you can do farming on a budget. It's true you can, but I'm going to talk a little bit about ways if you're really serious about it and want to invest the money. How do you do this at a larger level? So you want to look at your budget, and there's a lot of different ways you can do things. I mean, you can start with as simple as door knocking. Print off, make some flyers on Canva, print them off, and go knock on your door, every door. But I started pretty quickly into the thing doing mailers to my 900 homes. And so there was always a budget for that. Command makes it a little bit easier. You can do things through Command. I'll talk about what I mail in a bit here. I've got some samples. And then one of the mistakes I made go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to take you back, but can you go back to like choosing your farm and the location, like
Yeah.
determining like how big your farm should or could be, you know what I mean? Like you say,
Yeah.
900 homes. So what factors determine that? Like, why is it not 1,200 or why is it not 500? Well, how
Yeah.
did you come about 900?
Personal preference.
Okay.
There wasn't really a science to it. Yeah, for me, it was kind of that from Penn Avenue to 35W in Richfield, from top to bottom, or actually from 66 to 76 was about 900 homes, and that's where I
Okay.
live. I thought, well, I can manage that.
Yeah,
You don't want to start out too big because if you're not doing it consistently, you'll fail in a heartbeat.
right.
So I figured, okay, I can do 900.
That
I
sounds
can
like a
do that
lot.
consistently.
Even that sounds like a lot to me.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hired
Or
What's
you
that?
were just up to 900 now? Did you start with 900 or are you up to, okay, you just
Yeah.
went into it, okay.
Yeah. So, I mail about 5,500 a month now. And I'm gonna expand upon that too, but you know, there's a cost to that. That's newsletters that I do, that I'll show you, about $2,500 a month to do to the 5,500. So it's not an investment that you make lightly, and you really have to commit to wanting to, you know, carry it through. So that's going to be your big cost. Now you can do things, you know, cheaper if you want to hoof it, or hire little kids to go put the flyers in the doors, which I have done when I had more time and money, and you know, needed to have people help me out. But branding is something I made the mistake right away, is I didn't have a good consistent brand, and then I didn't use the same color scheme with some of my first mailings. Like, stupid. I mean, just even if it's just your logo, to have a consistent brand with your logo. I designed my logo really based on Richfield. It's kind of that 50s, 60s type essence to it. And so it's very recognizable now. So even if I don't have consistent coloring in everything I do, when I co-market with other entities, it still shows up and they still know who I am. So early on, I did a lot of, like I said, you know, print out a flyer, you know, 900 copies of it on the printer. I even stuffed envelopes, put stamps on envelopes. You know, you can print out mailing labels of every house in a neighborhood through Command or through the MLS. I did that, you know, and mailed for a period of time like that. And like I said, I had my wife and I at the time, we hit doors. I had little kids in the neighborhood hitting doors for a couple pennies a door, you know, like the Sun Current, I should say, the Sun Current delivery people. I hit up some of those folks, like, hey, will you do this on your spare time? Because they knew they all had their territories, and I think they got paid 3 cents a door to throw a Sun Current newspaper on the doors. Like, yeah, I'll do some, you know, side work for you. And so I got really creative in the early years, but then the every door direct marketing through the U.S. Post Office is really the ultimate way to do it and leverage it. It's I won't take a lot of time to explain how it works, but you can go into the U.S. Postal Service website, and you can go into their EDDM drop down or whatever. And literally what you can do is you can go through the area you're intending to farm and scroll your mouse over a neighborhood, and it'll highlight a neighborhood, and that's how many homes get delivered by a certain letter carrier. So a certain little section of town might have 300 houses, and that's one section. Then you scroll down and you can kind of, you know, map out your whole farm area, choose all your sections, and you've got like 6 letter carriers covered in a little box. It's not a perfect box, but it's pretty close. And that's how I shifted after kind of doing it manually and not as consistently as I wanted.
Find your spares, but then what?
Well, then
Addresses.
yeah, then the second part of it is, and I'll throw these out here right now as we're going. These are the newsletters that I've done over the years. I mainly do them in black and white, but I did one in color, kind of as a special thing, because I co-sponsored with one of the community events and changed out our sponsorship for a colored thing, just to see how it worked. But so with every door direct, if you see that on the back of those, there's that little indicia, and there's a little like postal code, and you know, you get that little thing. I found a printer that knows how to do that, and that's important. Find a printer that knows how to do EDDM, because not only will they print it for you, but they know how to bundle them. And you know, there's a very specific way they have to be bundled, and then they drop ship them to the Richfield post office. And then from there, the postal managers, they'll divvy them up to the letter carriers in neighborhoods I chose.
You
And
create the products for them to.
I create the product.
Yeah, they are then gonna mail.
Yeah. So I create that product.
And it's somehow attached to that online, so then they.
Correct. Yep. So I do them on Canva, and then I email the printer the proof, and they mock it up for me, make sure it's all good, and then I say go. Nothing, I don't touch anything from there.
So a printer who knows the EDDM
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. The printing company that I've used for years they're called Contemporary Images. And they're actually based out in Medina, out in the area. And I've just used them over the years. So there's a cost to the printing and there's a cost to the postage.
Sure.
And I think, of course, it goes up all the time, but I think it's somewhere in the low 20 cents per.
It's cheaper than regular.
It's way cheaper than regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your printer
Go to the
again?
Post office and drop whatever. postage.
Yeah.
Temporary.
Yeah.
20 cents is
Thank you.
just for
Contemporary.
postage or also for the card?
I'm sorry?
You're saying 20 cents just for the postage, you're doing that with the card, is
With the newsletter
altogether, it's
altogether.
printing and the postage is 20.
Yeah, it's maybe 25 or maybe it's gone up from then, but back when, like it was under 20 cents a copy. All in delivered for a while, and now I don't know what it is now, but it's still a lot cheaper than a stamp.
Yes.
Contemporary Images?
Anytime. So it doesn't matter that it's not in Richfield. I mean, they can
No.
do any post office.
No.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of printers that do that, they know how to do it, but you gotta have one that has what you need.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Cause the mail, the post office, I mean, I had one, like, nobody was getting, like, people in my farm, like, I knew you sent out a newsletter, I didn't get it. I go to the post office, oh, something wasn't right. They're just sitting in the back.
They don't.
Like, are you kidding me?
Nobody
They don't
knows,
care.
no.
So make sure if you don't live in your farm, make sure you have some people that live in your farm and know it's actually getting delivered.
So then how did that wasn't your printer's problem or your.
No, the printer sent them,
Did what they were supposed to do.
did what they were supposed to do. There was some misconnection between the printer and the post office. It got resolved, but they were just sitting there. At least they didn't throw them in the dumpster.
Yes.
Quick
Yeah.
question, Steve. Like, I'm just for comparison, like command, I know like when I do a mailer, there's like a 3-day lag before it goes out.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, give or take roughly, like after you do your printing, does it go out like a week later, roughly? Doesn't have to
At
be
the
exact.
most, yeah, I would say on average a week, so,
Comparable.
I'm send one. Yeah, usually from the time I send it to the printer, I get the proof and approve it, and go for it, it's a week.
Okay,
or
no,
so.
I'm just curious. Cool.
And that newsletter I'm sending around, that's my template. I don't change that up. It hasn't, let's look the same for years. And it probably needs some upgrading. I mean, I have upgraded it since I started, but
Looks fine.
it's good enough. It's good enough.
Newspaper.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking news.
Yeah,
And it fits your vibe.
and it looks a little organic, it's not something like some flashy thing that people get in the mail and throw away. It's like, and people expect it and they wait for it.
It's great.
A lot of times I'll go and I'm having a listening appointment at somebody's house that the latest copy of my newsletter will be sitting on the counter and that spurred their, it works. So market, don't overcomplicate it. If you've got stuff in Canva, use the same thing over and over. Just use the same thing.
Is it 2 pages? I just passed it along. Was it a 2-page one?
It does open, I
It's
think.
a,
Oh, so it's 4 pages, give or take. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering, yeah.
and then one of them, the colored one, I have a vendor partner. Now I'm starting to move away. You have to, if you've got vendor partners like a lender, you gotta make sure you're right with RESPA and everything, and they can contribute a percentage based on how much they put in the newsletter and everything. So just make sure that's all right. But I'm starting to think about maybe just selling ad space. And the most recent one I have, I've got Total Home Helpers is, they're giving me $150 a month to just put their name at the bottom.
Sure.
And that can be a way to fund it too.
Yeah.
My vendor partner was they had 1 page out of the 4 and they were giving me $500 a month out of the $2,500. So it was, still not cheap, but it's good to share the cost.
Yeah.
And give people the benefit. Because that allows you to scale up.
I didn't know what ISAs are. So
Oh.
I thought you were gonna maybe get to it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Inside sales agent, I guess is
Okay.
I have 2 people from the Philippines that I work with. I've worked
Okay.
with for years. One of them does my social media marketing, and the other one does my transaction coordination.
Okay.
And they can also help, like I found a source to pull a whole bunch of names. And so I'm capturing these, they're kind of, it's a manual capture way of doing it. And I'm going to send them to my ISA to help me load them into Command and load them into MailChimp. So they're great for little detail
Yeah,
work like that, because
interesting,
they'll do it for $5 an hour. Or, you know, the last thing you want to be doing is doing that yourself. So even if you have to hire a kid or somebody looking for college funds or whatever, to me, that's boring as all heck. So yeah, ISAs. Tracking ROA, growing the database. Yeah, I think last year, typically about 60 to 75% of my business comes from the result of my farming. And when I count both listings, and then they'll sell in Ridgefield and they'll buy in, say, Eden Prairie. I count those both because that's a connection that I got through my farming.
Yeah.
So
Did you get
those,
referrals from within your farm outside also?
yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, and then I do a lot of other stuff. I teach classes and things like that. So I kind of all try to lump that all into my geographical farming category. That way I can, on a broad perspective, that's how I can track it. And, so, you know, if you can build a leg of your business that you can wake up in the morning and, you know that you're going to get, like, you know, a certain number of transactions from it every year, it might be worth a try. I don't work that hard anymore, and I can just do what I do. Classes. But, and I'll talk a little bit about some strategies for growing the database as we get along here. So, so here are some things that you can consider, and this is not rocket science. There's not anything I'm going to show you that's going to be earth-breaking and groundbreaking or earth-shaking. But when I was new in the business, I would just grab open houses wherever I could, because I knew that was a way. If I didn't have money, I could go do open houses and generate business and get in front of people, and so I did that, and I did it all over the place. Like I did 4 open houses a weekend. I was just passionate about building my business that way. And I found that I'm going to Apple Valley to do an open house. Well, geez, I got to figure out what's with this neighborhood, what's Apple Valley doing, what are the stats here, what's going on. And I always felt like a fish out of water when I go to a different city and try to pretend like I knew what was going on in that neighborhood. And when I decided to farm, of course, that I didn't do any open houses outside of Richfield. Maybe for clients of mine that maybe were, you know, selling, but I would often farm those out to other people that wanted to do them. So doing open houses in your farm, you know, look for people who are doing listings and don't care about farming. They're just listing a home for their parents in whatever city and happens to be in your farm. Look for those new listings. Come out and ask those agents if you can do opens. Of course, door knocking works. My version of door knocking is just putting a flyer in the door, moving on. And I didn't like door knocking, but I knew that if I had to do something to get stuff in people's hands, that was a way to do it. I did door knock a little bit, just wasn't my jam. And so I just put stuff in people's doors to start with. But some of you are really good at it, so go for it. And then get involved in the community. And this is big. I joined the Chamber of Commerce early on in my career, but being a more introverted person, I didn't really like those big social mixers and, you know, like meeting people, we need a name tag and this and that. I learned to deal with it, and now it's fun because, you know, you can meet a couple people every time you go, and now you know people, and it gets easier to do. For those of you who are extroverts, you're probably like, I'll be all men easily, super easy. I get a lot of business leads from the chamber, and a lot of my business partners and the president connects me to people. Hey, so and so just opened a business in town. You might want to connect with them, and so that kind of helps, you know, get me out there per se. And and all, like, boards and committees, I've found that more and more now, there are fewer people that want to take the time to volunteer to be part of these things. And, for whatever reason, people just don't want to volunteer anymore, I'm finding. So if you wanted to be on a board or a committee, they'll probably welcome you with open arms and ask if you want to be the president. And one of the things I remember Kenny Claus saying is that you want to join all these things, but you don't volunteer to be president. He said, you don't want to do that because it's going to take up all your time. It's not worth doing. But there are things that I've been an officer of, and but just kind of weigh it out. So in Richfield, for example, there's a couple of things I've been involved in. There's a nonprofit called the Richfield Foundation, and they just raise money throughout the year, big wine tasting event, different fundraisers they do, and then in the fall they ask for grant applications from businesses that are like smaller nonprofits, and then we get together and we award grant money every year. So it's kind of a neat thing to do and be part of. And like I said, I'm on the Chamber of Commerce as a board member. In Richfield, their two big annual events are the 4th of July celebration and Penn Fest, which happens in September. It's an open street thing, like a mini Grand Old Day. And so I'm on both of those committees, and kind of have I love doing this stuff. That's part of this, is like it should be fun to do. I mean, if you're grinding away at this and you're not really enjoying it, people can see through that, like, oh, you're just trying to get business. If you're going to join a committee, like, be all in and contribute, and just don't be like a give me some leads kind of person, because that's what, like, developing those relationships really builds success over time. And then hold community events. Either I'll talk about a couple that I started and still happen to this day, but there's a bunch of different things that happen around the community. You can, through the Chamber of Commerce, through different business, through the schools, you can find community events to do a little pop-up tent and put a banner out there and do different things and get out and meet people. I love Richfield for its two big events, and it's kind of like those are like markers in the ground for me, like 4th of July is, and obviously, and then Penn Fest is in September. There's a lot of things that happen throughout the fall that I participate in that kind of get me ramped up for the next year, and they're just there for the taking. Sponsor local events. One of the things I do, and I'll show you this in a bit, as there's a Richfield, through the Parks and Rec department, they do a holiday lights contest, and people can go on their Facebook page and they can vote on which house has the best light display, and there's 4 different categories. There's a Clark Griswold category with the most lights and the most gaudy looking display, and then there's like best use of animation, or best, there's 4 categories every year. And I sponsor that. I've been sponsoring it for a number of years. The total cost of sponsoring that is paying for the 4 little trophies that get awarded to the homeowners. And I've got my logo on it, best Clark Griswold Award 2025 Schneeberger Group.
Nice.
It's like $200,
Yeah.
maybe $250. And for that, I get my logo and the community calendar and all that different stuff. So it doesn't have to be expensive, is the point. I've created some community events myself, partner with other businesses. I teach a fair amount of classes, and I've got some graphics on that too. And then create areas of focus inside your geographical farm. I tend to work a lot. I get people who are downsizing are attracted to me for some reason. It's because I'm getting older, probably, but they still read newsletters and this and that. So about a third of my business so far this year has been just downsizers within Richfield. So of my whole Richfield business, about a third of them right now are just people. I've helped a 96-year-old guy move out of his house. I've helped like 93-year-old people, 90-year-old people. I don't know, for some reason they like me. And that's part of the business too with farming. You're going to capture those people in your farm that have to move, that life circumstance, just as I'm working with a divorcing couple right now. Like people have to do these moves regardless of the market. And so by farming, you maybe pick up on more of those as they're just a matter of course.
Can you talk a little bit more about the classes that you teach, Steve?
Yeah.
What do you?
I've got a couple graphics.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll go into great detail on those. Because that has been an evolution over time too. So I put this slide up because you never want an event to go by without capturing names. The magic to doing your 10 by 10 pop-up tent or any kind of community event or whatever you're hosting, grab as many names as you can. So I have little paper sign-up sheets. Guess how many gumballs are in the jar? And I buy a few gift cards to a local restaurant. I put this up at PennFest and different things that I do, and I'll get, 100 to 200 new names each time I do it. And that's how I built my database of, I don't know, thousands. I don't even know how much, 7,000, 8,000 names. Not all of them are Richfield, but a lot of them are. And that's just like, do this every single time if you can. And then have your ISA put the names into your database.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Not only capturing them, what are you doing?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're not putting them into your database, it's a waste of time. So this is an event. I put this one first because I created this event just a few years into moving into Richfield, probably the second or third year. I decided to farm. There was another loan officer in my neighborhood, and we'd done things together and open houses together, and we came up with this brainy idea of giving away free pumpkins in a park in our neighborhood. And the first year, we bought, I think, 50 or 75 pumpkins out of our pocket. We paid for it. We did some advertising around our neighborhood, and a few people showed up, but we ended up not getting rid of all of them. Like, okay, well, we met some people. It was kind of fun. And we continued to grow it each year. Like, well, what can we do different? What can we advertise to more people? Can we do different channels to get people here? And so long story short, I think I'm in, something like, 17, 18, 19 years of doing this. And as it started to grow and grow, at one point it started to attract the interest of the city of Richfield. And they called me up one time, and a new person had taken over a segment of the Parks and Rec department. And they'd heard about this, and they called me up and said, hey, what's with this pumpkin giveaway you do every fall? And I explained it to them. It's like, it's pretty big. I mean, we're going to have to either get involved with you and help with this, or you just can't pay a $35 picnic shelter fee and run this event. It's just too big. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
No
kidding.
kidding.
So I was really mad. I was like, well, screw it. I'm gonna go find a church, and I'm gonna put them in a church parking lot and then everything. And then I thought more about it. So you're gonna partner with me. Okay, I like that. So now this is I'm in this every year for a number of things, but so that goes out to every single resident in Richfield. It's their every quarter or 3 times a year, whatever. It's their Parks and Rec calendar of events. So swim lessons, walks around Wood Lake, all of that stuff is in there, including all the classes and events. And so there's years where I've gotten the back page of that catalog for the pumpkin event for their fall edition. Like, that is pretty good. So I'm happy with it. And now they actually contribute dollars to my event. We're up to giving away 600 pumpkins, and that cost keeps rising. That's over $3,000 just for the pumpkins. So you can see we've taken on some some partner sponsors. Dave and Lisa with Illuminate, they've been my partners for years. They're awesome loan officers. And then Richfield Leadership Network is a nonprofit in Richfield. And then Carl Herman State Farm, and then the city of Richfield. The Visit Richfield is their tourism board. The other thing that I've learned is that there's, with some of these committees or entities that give out grant money, I started to apply for some of these events because they've become big enough. And I think I got $500 from Visit Richfield in the form of a grant. And so that's all good. It's all good. Because that event is now starting to cost a fair amount of money with face painting and bouncy houses. And the other thing I'll say is choosing your vendor partners. Be very intentional and curate those people. Don't just look for somebody to write a check. Carl Herman he gets marketing. He loves being in the community. He's got his State Farm agency on Penn Avenue. And he is a rockin' and rollin' dude. Like he'll throw money at these things. Like he pays for the bounce house. It's a big, massive bounce house. I'll pay for that. And I'll put a flat screen TV in for grand prize for the door prize drawing. Well, how many people? Everybody's going to register for that. So he's all in, and we do a lot of things together. Dave and Lisa, they're all in. They choose people that are very community minded, have the same mindset as you, and it's fun to work with them. You'll get together a good group of people. You're going to have a lot of fun doing all this stuff, and they're willing to contribute both financially and time-wise to it. And that's what kind of makes it fun. So this year we're looking to even take it a little step further. The last couple of years has been so big. There's about 1,000 people that show up for it. And back in the day, it used to be, me with my logoed apparel and Dave and Lisa with their logoed apparel, a few hundred people come, and we're kind of like hosting the party. Now people don't even know who we are, and they just come into this party. So we're looking now to, and we've had TV stations come, and it's like it gets to be pretty big and fun now. And so we're thinking, well, I think instead of like being invisible and checking to see how much coffee's left in the Cambros and all that, we just want to have our own pop-up tents. And so we're proposing doing vendor sponsors with pop-up tents, a local hair salon or a local bank, or and then I'll be there, and we'll kind of farm the rest of this out, leverage it out. Somebody can sponsor face painting. You take the whole thing and go with it. We don't want to be part of that. You want a restaurant, you want to sponsor the coffee and snacks, you go for it, and then that's your deal. So it's evolving, and it's a fun problem to have as it gets bigger. But like some of these people, they've got funds. The State Farm, they've got like matching funds for marketing. He can spend whatever. I mean, we're writing checks out of our pocket, so it's a little different that way. This is another thing. Are you still with me, Josie, during this? Maybe it was a little bit after.
I think it might have been after.
A little bit after.
Yeah.
So this was 2020 COVID year. And we were all freaking out, wondering what the heck, how are we going to get business? What's going to happen? And everybody was like, be creative, do something. Don't just sit there, do something. And I thought I had I had an office on Penn Avenue at the time. And it's like I set up a team office. And you can do that too if you're serious. It was cool for a while. It's cool.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, in 2020, I was sitting in my office by myself because everybody was freaking out. Like, well, what do I do here? And so I thought, well, I heard somewhere that like people were like in need of food. Like people were struggling. It was a lot of chaos going on. So I thought, well, let's see if we can I'll do a food drive. So food drives are a dime a dozen. And you might get like you set a box up somewhere and people come and bring food. And I want to do it differently. I actually want to go put bags on people's doorstep with a flyer, like give us food, put your food here. Next Saturday morning, we'll come and pick up your food. You don't have to bring it anywhere. Just put food on your doorstep in this bag. We'll come pick it up. And I knew somebody at the Rotary at that time, and they were looking for ways to kind of reach out and help people. they liked the concept. A couple other people I was working with, they liked the concept, like, okay, let's do this. So I got plastic bags at Target. They donated those. I made a little flyer, like, what's the purpose of this? And by the name, bless you. Put your name and address and email address on the bottom of this and you know, leave it. So we'll give away gift cards to, you know, 4 people. So generate the names. And so we stapled them onto these bags, and we hit, I think between all of us, we maybe hit about 3,000 or 4,000 doors, these bags. And we said, you know, next Saturday, come in, you know, like, you can either bring them to my office or we'll come and get them. So next Saturday rolled around, and we had volunteers from the high school honor society, just different people, like, all lined up to go pick them up. And next Saturday was like, we had truckload after truckload after truckload of food and supplies and diapers and shampoo. In my office, I think, was about 1,100 square feet. Every square inch of my office floor, every desk, every countertop, everything was just filled with donations. Like, holy crap. I think it was something like 13,000 pounds
Wow.
of food. We gave it to Veep. We arranged with Veep as our local food shelf, and we arranged with them beforehand. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. Will you take our stuff? And they're, oh yeah, we'll take it. They had no idea. It took them a whole week bringing their van back and forth to my office to come pick up, van load to get all that. And it was like probably the biggest food drive they'd ever seen.
Did you capture any emails and contact, or it was just also putting your name out there?
So we put, there's a little flyer that went on the bag,
Sure.
you know, and sponsored by, and now, you know, I did,
Something.
yep, something similar to that. And now we don't still do it at that level. We don't get that much donation. We maybe get about half of that. But my partner, Carl Herman, had a genius idea and the money, like, hey, we're gonna get like Ridgefield Pass Pitch. We're gonna get the football team. We're gonna get the cheer team, the church youth group. I'm gonna pay them $500 towards their cause. And I'm gonna have these kids go and hang these bags on the doors and then come back next Saturday with their parents, pick up the bags. We're just gonna sit here in my parking lot and eat donuts and drink coffee. And boy, that's genius, because it works so well. And now we have like this big, I don't know, 20-foot U-Haul truck that we have all lined up with pallets that Beep gives us. And we just sit back and take it all in, and all the kids do the work for us, and they benefit by getting
Those hours.
a donation to their cause, you know, or whatever.
But you didn't get the people who donated. You didn't get their contact information. You have their,
Yep.
how did you get their email?
Paper on the bag.
Yeah, so we
So
stapled
they
it
have to put their contact information on it.
if they want. So of the flyer looks a lot like this. We do like a black and white version, only we'll put here, like, enter your name and put your name and address and
The
email.
giveaway or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
for our
good.
door prizes. So we've gotten away from doing that the last couple of years, just because my partner's like, oh, I don't want to do that.
You want it to be pure, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were 1 or 2 people that would write on the thing like, this is like some shameless marketing thing, you know. So I mean, yeah, you want it to be pure and sincere. But so we still do that, and that's become an annual thing. 6th annual, I don't know. That was so 7 years running. We'll keep doing that. Those are little markers in the sand as you go along. That's a spring thing. Pumpkin giveaway is a fall thing. And then one of my vendor partners, the Ridgefield Leadership Network, he works a lot with youth, and he saw a need for winter clothing and throughout the school district. So he came up with this concept. He said, hey, Steve, hey, Carl, hey, Dave and Lisa, you want to partner up with me on this? I'm going to run this. And so we do this in the winter. And this will happen, like November, the month of November, basically. So BJ is his name. He had these big cardboard boxes, and you print a poster-sized version of that, puts them on the boxes, and we put them at those various locations throughout Richfield. And then we just go every now and then, we go check and empty the box, you know, bring it to Carl Herman's office. And by the end of the of the drive, like 2 of his offices are just filled to the ceiling with coats and mittens and gloves and boots and all that. And then we bring them to the 3 schools in Richfield. The public schools actually have their own food shelf, which is now where we donate some of our food, because there's a lot of people in the Richfield School District that are in need. And we do this for the schools with the coat drive from, like kindergarten on through senior high. And BJ kind of taps like from each school, like what do you need most of, what size do you need most of, and we try to accommodate the best we can. But that was going now. I think we're in the 3rd or 4th year on doing that. And these are just fun. I just love doing these things. And this is the holiday light thing. That's the ad that they post in the catalog. And what's fun about that is my daughter's 22 now, but I think I first started sponsoring this when she was a young teenager. And one of the cool things about this is I get to go with the City of Richfield Parks and Rec person and they drive through the neighborhoods, and we look at every home, and we all get to kind of choose which ones we want to give the awards to. And my daughters come with most of the years that she's been around, and sometimes we'll bring cookies and have fun driving around town. And then we bring all the photos back to the office, and we choose which one, and then the city
That's
can
the light
post
decoration.
it. The holiday lights, yeah. So it's just cool. This one I don't sponsor, but man, if you're a realtor, you got to tap into these things for sure. So in Richfield, they do this at a pretty large scale. They do about 90 to 100 people participate in their annual garage sale. And so they have to pay the fee. They have to come into the city community center and pick up a sign and pick up their literature. So what I do there is I have a table when they come to pick up their sign, and I give away garage sale care packages. So it's like a little paper bag. You can get 2 for $1 at dollar store. Put a couple of bottles of water in there. Put a couple of little fruit snacks or candy snacks or whatever, and then I put a version of my newsletter in there. So that's their open house care package. I logo the bag, and then I just have one through the 15th through the 70th. I just drive around town and I just go talk to people and just have fun and buy stuff. So classes. I teach. There's a few classes that I teach are kind of like anchor points, and they are through the Richfield Continuing Ed, basically community ed kind of catalog. It's similar to that one, only it's just education. So if you want to learn how to roll small or how to bake a cake or whatever, there's all these classes you can take. And I'm in that catalog each quarter, and I teach a class called Acing the Richfield Point of Sale Test. Point of sale is something that's required by every seller to do in Richfield, and they have to have their home inspected, and there's this checklist of things you look for. So my class is really how to prepare for that, and I bring a slideshow with a whole bunch of photos of different things I've seen over the years, and I prepare, bless you, and I get the attendees prepared for it. Again, I don't really market.
What are you teaching them about?
It's truth in housing.
Okay, they're
Yeah.
the tish or whatever.
Yeah, they call it different things in different cities.
I see, how to
So-
prepare for that.
How to prepare for it. And they charge a fee for that. And so every year I just re-up that. Every quarter, do you want to teach it again? Yeah. And so that's like I do at Bloomington too now. I teach it in Bloomington. Same idea.
Can you get contact information though from them? They have to give it to you. You can't ask for it. Because I taught a class and you can't ask for any contact information.
Yeah. So what I've done in these classes, I say, for coming to this class, I'm just for you here at this class, I'm offering you a free consult. Well, I'll tour your home and I'll do a walkthrough like the city and inspectoral walkthrough, and I'll tell you what you need to do. And sometimes I'll get people to take me up on it.
Otherwise, they just see you as an expert.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've learned to do that, and some people take me up on it. It's worth it. This one I co-branded with a mortgage person. They were basically doing a seminar on reverse mortgages. So should I stay or should I go? I'm the realtor guy there, so people like, well, I want to go. Then they think of me, and I'm there to answer questions for them. And then I do this one. I'm the Senior Living Resource Fairs in conjunction with the Parks and Rec senior division of that entity. So we did this last year for the first time. It's a resource fair. So I put together a panel of 5 different people who represent a co-op and a condo development and a 55 plus and a memory care, aging placing. And I put together a panel of 5 different people, and we talk about what is the difference between each of these housing types. And then it ends up being a Q&A after for the people. And then the second half of that is a vendor fair, more or less. So all the people from the Havenwoods and the 55 plus places and different people that help seniors, move managers and things like that, they come and display, and then people get a chance to talk to them afterwards. We had almost 100 people show up to that last year. We did it for the first time. We were bursting at the seams. It was really well attended. Awesome. Yeah. And they got all the names. We did door prize drawing there too. So we asked the vendors to bring a $25 gift card or something of value. And then everybody enters and we draw the names and we give out the prizes there. A few minutes there. I'll keep going. Here's a couple of the other. This is the acing the point of sale test. I've taught these in the community center too back before I got involved with the community ed catalog. I would just rent a room at the community center and teach these. We did one called, what was that? Confessions of a Home Inspector. when Josie was on my team, we did one of those. We packed the place, didn't we? There's like 50, 60 people there. And that was, and the inspector was super entertaining. But I don't do anything from buyer standpoint. I'm not interested in working with buyers at this point. But you can do buyer stuff too. But I'm just really interested in the listing thing. I also do something similar with a panel, a downsizing panel. So I'll recruit 4 or 5 of my clients who downsized the previous year, and I'll ask them to be part of my panel to discuss how their experience went with their move. What vendors did you use? Did you have your family help you move? How long did it take you to clear out your house? What did you feel as you went through it? What were the biggest challenges you encountered? And I just ask them a bunch of questions, and then the audience can ask questions too. And I figure, well, it's easier for people to listen to people who've recently done it than to have me get up as a younger person than most of those and say, oh, this is what happens. Like you can get the real experience from the people right there in the spot. So I've found, again, leveraging those out, I'll moderate it, but then just let the people have at it. And of course, get people to sign up for your prizes. And then this is the last thing. So Ridgefield also does a renovation tour, and the city likes to promote they do renovation loans and grants and things like that for people to improve their homes and in varying levels. And so they do they call it the renovation celebration. It happens every October, and they'll recruit 5 or 6 homeowners that have recently done big scale renovations, and we'll put them on tour. And so Saturday afternoon from like noon to 5, you can go through and hit all the homes. And I sponsor one of the homes always, and then I sit in the home and I got so many dumbbells or some kind of thing and gather names. And then also I work with the city, and this is a city government now. This is a housing department. I've worked with them to create a post-event class, another panel discussion where these people that renovated their homes sit on a panel, we invite people in who are thinking about doing renovations, and let them ask the panel what their experience was working with the loans, working with contractors, all those things. And we the first time we did that, we had about 50 people come to that, and the city gets to promote their loan programs. I get to moderate. The first time I did it was just a presentation because I renovated my kitchen. but I thought, well, let's just let other people talk about it. And so, we've done this, and then a lot of times when people find out how much it costs to bump up their house to a second story or to add a room off the back, it's like $500,000 and their house is worth 300. I'm exaggerating, but they go, screw that. We're just gonna move. And then I do these cost versus value consultations, like, well, what would it cost you to do this addition? What would your house be worth? Maybe you should just move. And that's my ulterior motive. But it also helps people give them an idea, what it costs. And it gives them the opportunity to go through those steps to get a contractor out, have them look at it, have them give them a bid. And it's usually pretty shocking as to what the cost would be. So anyway, and then PennFest now, I do gather names, but last year I put this big sign in an A-frame and I put up 3 10 by 10 tents and I rented some tables and chairs and I just made it a rest area. Because people are walking up and down the street at a hot day. I set this up by the food trucks and then I sponsor the rest area. So that's kind of fun. That's all I got. Questions? I'll stick around if you want, but if you need to vote, you can vote.
I got more of a comment for you. How many are online, Allison?
None online today.
Online today. Those of you in the room, you just benefited big time. And why you benefited so much is exactly what Steve just covered is what people are doing in San Antonio right now. That people have spent a couple $1,000s to actually go there, hear mega agents talk about what they do well, and literally share it with you. I've been texting John Ladebord. He goes, there's not more in the room for this. And I said, Steve is crushing it because literally he shared with you every game plan, how he's done it and how it's evolved over history. Now, for you, some of you might think, okay, I want to do all these things, and you'll do it like Steve did. You'll just take 1 or 2 at a time and build it. But again, literally, you hear how much fun he's having as he's going through them. And so again, Steve, honestly, thank you. You did an excellent job. And did we record it?
We should.
Okay, because this is something, those in accountability groups, honestly, everybody should watch this because it is so good. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can do this stuff even if you choose not to farm. I mean, some of the stuff is just fun to do, and you can build a database just by doing a pop-up tent.
Yeah.
So yeah, take what you can, use what you can.
I have a question, but it's probably for Matt, but are we able to use a room? Do we sign out? Maybe Allison knows. If we were to teach a class ourselves on something that isn't for the whole, everybody, it's for like it's my client.
We just talked about this yesterday, Allison. We did, because I'll tell you, I've used this room probably half a dozen times. When I would coach my kids' teams, I would come in here, and this was always what I called the office practice. It's the first practice. And I would bring in the parents as well as the players, and I would bring in Taco Bell, I'd bring in Dairy Queen, I'd bring in all kinds of things. And then I would, like Steve did, I would play a trivia game related to that sport. Parents loved it. And then again, so yeah, you can use this room, talk to Allison, how you do it. Again, I always say this is the best room in our whole entire brokerage in the market center, and it's used the least.
Yep.
And so again, it's empty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be empty the rest of the day.
Well, also there's a conference room on the first floor.
Right.
Yep.
Right,
Conference-
available, like a big boardroom on the
Yep.
first
Yeah.
floor that
belongs to the building.
Yep.
but anybody can use it.
Yeah, we rented it for training last week or 2 weeks ago.
So you can do a variety of different things. I would say get creative like Steve and just start thinking out of the box. How do I want to actually connect with some people? I just saw literally Julie Brandt and I think Angie, they just did yoga, outside yoga, I think at either one of their properties or something like, it was cool. It was amazing. So,
I think I
Yeah.
saw her little flyer.
Yeah.
advertisement.
so you can do yoga in here if you want. You just gotta put all the tables and chairs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Always
Thanks
cool.
for coming.
So much. Well,
We
thank
could
you.
reach
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna go after Carla Rose.
Thanks.
We needed to read perfect. We could reach you if we had questions.
Very mindful.
100%.